Justice League versus Godzilla versus Kong 2, issue 3, Brian Buccellato writing with Christian Duce on the art. So I did not read this, and I think I'm realizing, because I remember I gave up on the second Santa book as well.
Mm-hmm.
Is I'm realizing some of these like weird, like gimmicky crossovers are kind of fun, and the first one I think was mostly a good fun book. I think maybe I'm realizing that like when they do a sequel to them, I'm like, yeah, we already did the gimmick though, and it's lost it's like I just, this was the one that I looked at and went, I don't need to read this. Even the tease of maybe getting Ghidorah a few issues down the line is not enough to make me, I don't know, I just couldn't be bothered. But you read it, so
yeah,
go for it.
And look, you're not wrong in all of that. The gimmick is kind of fading. So this one opens with Harley Quinn in, the Monsterverse Earth, which I guess they're calling Earth Prime. And talking to a therapist, which ends up being Dr. Harleen Quinzel. So there's a real Dr. Quinzel in the Monsterverse universe that Harley has went to seek out to talk about her problems. And, she ends up arguing with her. She goes, there is no Joker in this world, and Harley says she's going to go find him, with help from an old friend hinting about, Batman or whatever. So it was a really weird way to start the issue. But then we immediately get into the Monsterverse stuff with this clan of apes that are in Hollow Earth with Superman and Lex. And they fight them off, but Superman's weakened because in Hollow Earth, his powers aren't at full. And so one of the apes grabs him. He uses the frost breath. It lets him go. And then we cut over to Skull Island, where Barry and Batman are. And, this is another weird thing that happens here, is Barry's kind of like, I don't know if I can push myself. I got this concussion. And Bruce tells him, sit down, I'll do it myself. And he goes, you're a newlywed, you got Iris to go back to. And Barry's like, no, I'm the best person for this job. I have super speed, even with a concussion. I should be doing this. And Bruce just looks at him as like, yeah, you're right, go ahead and do it. So this whole thing about, Flash, you're not at 100%. You have a concussion. This is bad news. Was just, I guess, basically for nothing. Just to kind of show. And then Lex goes up and meets with, what's his name? The guy that killed Waller. I'm looking for it here. With Shaw.
I was going to say Wyatt and Kurt Russell.
I kept trying not to say that. I kept not trying to say Wyatt and Kurt. But with Shaw. And they're in Hollow Earth, and they get up to this big, spire that has these blue flecks of radiation coming off of it. And Shaw wants Lex to extract this. We get over back to Flash. He's running around Skull Island. He, because he needs to get to Batman's mech, where there's some information that they need. And he gets jumped by Cheetah. They fight, and then Kong comes up. And we get this really fun piece in the art where Kong's standing over them, and Cheetah goes into full scared cat, right? With the arched back and the hair standing up. It was worth a chuckle. But they end up communicating with the DC Earth and with Mr. Terrific, and they're going to open up the portal, and Kong's looking on through the other side, which is not good because now Kong's aware of this. And then the third part of the book, you have the Suicide Squad plus what's the evil group called? Legion of Doom. They're all, they have Wonder Woman under. They have her held prisoner, and Peacemaker's talking a bunch of trash to her, being like, "Yeah, you think you're the biggest, toughest, but I took you out. You're nothing." They end up taking him to essentially their headquarters, which is the ship off the coast of Skull Island. And Wonder Girl, Supergirl has been chasing Wonder Woman, has been tracking him, and it's all been part of the plan for Wonder Woman to get onto the ship So she snaps the cuffs, and they end up fighting. Giganta ends up growing, and Supergirl punches her, and there's a lot of fun back and forth. Black Manta jumps into the water to make his escape, and Supergirl and Wonder Woman now have cleared off all the bad guys. They find out there's a Monarch employee working there, which I can't remember if this is a character from the show, but her name is Jay Jorgensen. And they had her all tied up, and there's been a beacon that's been activated that's going to draw the Titans to their location. We get back to Superman in Hollow Earth. He sees there's like an exit, one of the portals. He gets all of his energy. He exerts himself. He goes through, only to find Godzilla back on the other side. And it teases the next issue, calling rematch, where I don't think Godzilla and Superman are going to fight again. They've already done that.
Yeah, I mean, this kind of feeds into my feeling of this being a sequel and being a bit less interesting, is that, I mean, Superman and Godzilla fought, and they even, like, kind of came to fight together by the end. So, teasing a rematch at the end of an issue in this sequel isn't that exciting. It's just kind of like...
So, to go from reading Quantum Karma to this, which is so spacey, and like Quantum Karma has all these ideas about life and what's worth living, to this, which just is basically big monster smash. Like, look, those are two sides of my personalities. I just don't know what else this is serving besides just like, hey, look, it's superheroes with the Titans, with Godzilla, with Kong, and like, you know me, I love big monsters. I love King Kong. At this point, it feels like it's just treading water, and we're just doing like superhero-y stuff. And there was no other teases of any other fun, monsters. Like, I'd love for Mothra to get teased. There's nothing like that here. No other, no Scar King from GXK or anything like that. So it's really weird. And it's like, again, what is the purpose of this book? I mean, it's entertaining in the slightest sense of the word. But yeah, Shaw's just not like a fun villain. We don't have a lot of ties to him. The first book worked a lot because we had Luthor doing the Mecha Godzilla stuff and Waller doing the Suicide Squad things. But essentially, that's another part that I skimmed over, is that Waller's main plan was to Titanize the Suicide Squad, so now she would also have big monsters in order to fight off the superhero threats or whatever, Suicide Squad's going to do. And that's a weak ploy through here with Shaw, because like, what's Shaw going to want to do with that? I still don't know what his main purpose is besides, the mustache twirling kind of bad guy. So yeah, this is not that great. I'm probably going to keep reading it though. Like, it's monsters. But yeah, it's kind of like a 5 out of 10. So yeah.